Welcome back, hunters. It's time for 3 more of my essential sets. And with the PC port already doing impressive numbers and bringing us a whole new slew of hunters to the Rise grind, it's time to share some builds from one of my favorite weapons. Actually, it's one of my true mains. And while I can use all 14 weapons, the SwAxe has had my heart ever since Monster Hunter Tri. So today, I present to you folks my 3 essential SwAxe builds. Each different and each supporting a variety of playstyles for experienced and newcomers alike. So, with the mighty morphin powerhouse of DPS, let's get into it. Now on to our first build. I'm presenting to you a beast of raw damage. Who says you need blue or white sharpness to decimate these monsters? This one leans into the green with the Bludgeoning SwAxe. For this one, we start with the Grand Chaos SwAxe from the Diablo's tree. The rampage skill that you should be running is Dulling Strike. For the gear, we're going to be running the Kaiser Crown, Vikemail S, Valstrax Braces, Anjanath Coil S, and the Hunter's Greaves S. As for the talisman, this one has Rapid Morph 2, Bludgeoner 1 with 2 level 2 deco slots. As for the decorations, we're going to be running a Brace deco in both the weapon and the head. The chest is going to house a Quick Switch, Blunt, and Brace deco. We're going to put a Tenderizer in the arms. The waist gets a Blunt with 2 Steadfast decos. On the legs, we're going to put a Mind's Eye deco. And finally on the talisman, we're going to be putting in a Critical and Mind's Eye deco. This build relies more on raw damage than critical hits to hit these big numbers. Getting a minimum of 4 in attack ensures that we get a 5% attack boost plus the 7 bonus points. Bludgeoner will give the weapon an additional 10% boost at green sharpness, and Mind's Eye 2 will boost your damage 15% on hard targets while also preventing deflection. Dulling Strike, the rampage skill, has an additional chance to boost raw damage as long as you keep your sharpness in the green. On top of all that raw damage, you're also going to get a 50% crit chance on weak spots thanks to Weakness Exploit, and Crit Damage Boost 2 gets you 35% increase on those critical hits. It's like having a beefy DPS cherry on top of an already beefy DPS sundae. Sometimes you don't have to force a near 100% crit chance build to hit these high damage numbers. This is an example of how that can work. As an adjustment though, I am running full flinch free because I couldn't decide of what to do with the other 2 level 1 slots. So, while normally I run Brace 1 on mine, you could run 2 of whatever level 1 skills that you want. Our next build gives the SwAxe the much needed mobility boost that it normally doesn't have. This will allow you to dance around the battlefield while swiftly following up with some big hits. I call this one the Fleetfooted SwAxe. For this one we need a high affinity weapon, so we're starting with the Knight's Crescent SwAxe from the Nargacuga tree. Arguably not the best damage, so we boost it with some attack boost 3 on the rampage skill. As for the gear, we're going to be running the Almudron Helm S, Vikemail S, Valstrax Braces, Anjanath Coil S, Hunter's Greaves, and a talisman with Evade Extender 2, Weakness Exploit 1, and a single level 2 slot. For the decorations, we're going to put 3 attack decos in both the weapon and the head. The chest is going to get a Quick Switch, Critical, and Brace deco. We're going to put Critical on the arms and waist with 2 Steadfast decos. And finally, we're going to be putting a Jumping deco on the legs. As for the talisman, we're going to throw in a single Expert deco. This gives us attack boost 7, 3 points in crit boost, weakness exploit, rapid morph, evade extender, and stun res, with 1 point in Dragon Heart, flinch free, and critical eye. It's a simple set of skills, but it makes for some thrilling gameplay. Obviously, you'll see that Evade Extender 3 is a key point of this set. While Evade Extender has always been a great skill, Rise took the skill and further boosted it by greatly extending how far a hunter can roll when using an evade. Furthermore, this boosts the distance that you can in-air evade when using a wire bug. Sure, you can just master the art of dodging, but one thing that can save you from big hits is instead of just dodging through them, not being anywhere near them. The Knight's Crescent isn't exactly the hardest hitting SwAxe in the game. Typically, high affinity weapons lack raw damage. but boosting the damage with attack boost 7 ensures an admirable 231 raw as long as you have both power charm and power talent. Max weakness exploit, along with the weapon's natural affinity and that 1 point in critical eye, ensures that you get a 95% affinity on this weapon. And if that isn't enough for you, the weapon also utilizes the poison file for some additional DOT. It's a build that merges both the offensive ability of the SwAxe and the defensive capability of running Evade Extender 3. On top of that, when you're in the thick of it and trading blows with the monster, your side hops are also boosted with Evade Extender, allowing you to greatly boost how far you can jump left and right. So if you want to dance around the hunt, swiftly avoiding damage, and then laying down some strong DPS, this might be the build for you. Moving on, once again we're going to be leaning into the Silkbind boost skill with this next build. I call it the Silkbound SwAxe. And for this one, we're going to start with the Conqueror's SwAxe. This one is built by following the ore tree into the ore tree 2. For the gear, we're going to be running the Kaiser Crown, Nargacuga S, Valstrax Braces, Anjanath Coil S, Ingot Greaves S, and the talisman I'm rocking is a Rapid Morph 3 with a level 2 slot on it. For the decorations, we're going to be putting 3 Drained Echoes into the weapon, a Steadfast Echo on the head, 2 Grinder Echoes on the chest, Tenderizer in the arms, a critical with 2 Steadfast on the waist, a Grinder Deco on the legs, and a critical deco on the talisman. This gives us the following skills: Crit Eye 7, Attack Boost 4, 3 points in Weakness Exploit, Speed Sharpening, Stun Res, Crit Boost, Stamina Thief, and Rapid Morph, with 1 point in Dragon Heart and Evade Window. Before we get into explaining the build, if you do intend to take this online, I suggest swapping out one of those level 1s for a Braced Echo. This set is a standard high affinity crit set, very similar to the longsword set that I first brought to you guys in the first episode. Silkbind boost has been a theme for many of these videos so far, and of course we're going to be including that here. For the switch skills, you have your choice between either Soaring Wyvern Blade or Invincible Gambit. Both make use of Silkbind boost, boosting the damage whenever you use any of these attacks. Soaring Wyvern Blade seems to be easier to pull off, while Invincible Gambit does take some finesse. Invincible Gambit does have some interesting counterplay though, being able to shrug off big hits and returning with some boosted damage. The Conqueror's SwAxe does a decent amount of exhaust damage, with the file featuring a beefy 30 in exhaust, and further boosted by Stamina Thief maxed out. So the key points of this set is that it does reliable damage and opens up the possibilities when you can get a monster exhausted enough to be standing there drooling, waiting to get beat up. So with that, these were my 3 essential SwAxe sets. I hope you can fit one of these as a key part of your arsenal. The SwAxe has long been one of my go-to weapons when I want to lay a serious smackdown on whatever the game throws at me. Maybe it could do the same for you. And as always, you can find me on Twitch. Most of the time I'll be playing Monster Hunter. So if you're on, tune in, let's chat, and maybe get a few hunts in. You can also follow me on all my socials. And of course, if you liked what you just watched, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And with that, we got another set of essential builds in the books. Have some fun knocking monsters around with some bar AF DPS. And as always, stay frosty, hunters, and get lifted. I'll catch you guys on the next one.